Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGod. In today's video, we're going to talk about the evolution of Nuketown, which is probably one of the most iconic maps in Call of Duty history. This map has been made and remade several times over the Call of Duty franchise history. What we're going to talk about in this video is the origin of Nuketown, some of the changes that they've done with each variation, as well as some Easter eggs that have been included on each of the maps. So if you enjoy the video at any point, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button. And if you're brand new to the channel, I typically cover Call of Duty news, in-game updates, best class setup, subscriber breakdowns, as well as other tip and trick videos on how to improve at Call of Duty. If any of that seems interesting to you, make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on so you won't miss a future video. The first thing we'll go ahead and talk about is the origin of Nuketown. Apparently the idea came from a game designer after he watched the movie Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Here are a few screenshots from that film so you can get an idea of what they were actually going for. So here's a look at the Nuke site. Here's a look of the houses with the mannequins with Harrison Ford in the background. And then here's a look at that main street. You can see the vehicles are all around. He's in the middle of the street there. Here's another look from another angle at that Nuketown. Some of you may have already heard this story before, but if you haven't, the actual video game designer that I'm talking about is David Vonderhaar himself. So after watching this movie, he's all inspired, goes into work the next day, and pretty much pitches the idea that they need to make a map, and it ended up being Nuketown. It took them approximately 2 days to make, and little did they know that it would be one of the most popular maps in the franchise's history. So I'd love to know down in the comments below what's your favorite version of Nuketown and why. So let's go ahead and talk about the first version of Nuketown that I'm pretty sure most of you have played, and that is the Black Ops 1 version. And yes, you can still find a lobby in Black Ops 1. They're not the best lobbies. A lot of them are hacked or skippy or bad connection, but you can still find some lobbies in Black Ops 1. Obviously, Nuketown is a nuclear test site designed to look like a 1950s themed suburb, and there are several Easter eggs just on this one map alone. And what's interesting is as the years progressed, they carried over some of the Easter eggs. They modified them slightly, but they pretty much carried over from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3 to Blackout, and then obviously now with Black Ops 4. Obviously, one of the most obvious Easter eggs is this Welcome to Nuketown sign, which lists the population, and on there it is accurate to how many players are still alive. Although with each version they do change the aesthetics of this particular sign, they do keep that population count in all of the versions of Nuketown. And if you look closely in the background at this tower, there's actually a clock that is counting down the match. When it hits 0, that's when the nuke hits. So when it comes to the mannequin Easter egg for this one, you have to shoot the heads off all the mannequins in under 30 seconds, I believe. Once you do that, it will play Symphony for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. And this particular Easter egg for the mannequins is significantly harder than it is in any of the other Nuketowns. Also, if you've been a fan of the Black Ops series, you'll recognize these names on the mailboxes in front of each of the houses. And those names are no other than Woods and Mason. The next little Easter egg that's going to take us from Black Ops 1 straight into Black Ops 2 is the RC car track. So on each side of the map, there was these little holes you could jump through, and then there was a little ramp you could jump over, and it allowed you to get an opportunity to flank the enemy. As you'd come through, be able to get a little rush on them, take them out, explode, you'd be good to go. So this particular version of Nuketown was called Nuketown 2025. And what was weird about that is obviously it's not our version of what we think 2025 would have looked like back when this game came out. And it's more representation of what they thought 2025 would look like back in the 1960s. So it definitely has that 1960s feel, but obviously a future flair thrown on it. And as far as the map goes, it's pretty much the exact map. They didn't really need to change anything. There's not any advanced movement, no jetpacking. None of that craziness wasn't added until Black Ops 3. So as far as the actual map goes, there's not really anything that changed other than the aesthetics. But like I mentioned earlier, they do have the sign that mentions the population of the actual lobby. In this particular case, it's only 9 people. So this particular version of Nuketown did have a mannequin Easter egg of its own, and this one worked a little bit different. It didn't just play some random music. It was a little bit more involved, so you felt a little bit more rewarded for completing this specific Easter egg. They also upped the time from 30 seconds up to 90 seconds, so it was a little bit more viable for a solo player to complete this challenge of shooting the heads off all of the mannequins. So once you completed this Easter egg, you were able to walk up to the population sign and you were able to play one of 4 games from Activision's early library, and those games were Hero, Kaboom, Pitfall, and River Raid. And personally, I'm not familiar with any of those games other than Pitfall, which I played on the Super Nintendo. So yes, I have been playing video games for quite a long time. So for Nuketown 2025, they also have that 1960s futuristic styled mailbox that has woods and mason on it. So here's a look at that. And for whatever reason, when they transitioned into Black Ops 3, they decided to change the names up, I guess to fit the story a little bit better with those specific characters. You're going to notice they have Corvus and Hendrix, which are central characters in Black Ops 3. So although they still have the Easter egg of the mailbox, they went ahead and changed the character. With the introduction of advanced movement and jetpacking into Call of Duty, they had to make changes to Nuketown in a significant way when it came to map design. The two biggest changes to the map are one, the size of it, and two, the actual locations for you to wall run. And although this map is known for chaotic, fast-paced gameplay, these are two changes that definitely needed to happen in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because I think the map walks a tight line of chaotic and fun. If it would have pushed that boundary and still kept the smaller map with that advanced movement, I think it would have gone to the point where it's just too chaotic and ends up being not fun. So at this point, I'd love for you to weigh in on this topic. Do you think they should have increased the map size like they did? Or do you think they should have just kept it the original with that advanced movement? Love to know your thoughts down in the comments section below. One of the cool things about this map is they actually paid homage to the original maps in a few different ways. Although they went ahead and got rid of that RC track and there's no longer a hole in the reason for whatever reason, they included little Easter eggs around the map. So right here, you can actually see a sign where they reference the previous Nuketowns. They also include the original mannequins and like a wall display on the upstairs building. You can see it right there. And then they also include the original Nuketown sign, and it can be found on a shelf on the second floor on the opposite building. So definitely some pretty straightforward Easter eggs that they included on this map to reference those previous Nuketown maps. As with the previous two maps, they also had a mannequin Easter egg, and this one actually had 3 variations. And I'll kind of talk you through each of those. But pretty much all 3 Easter eggs are the same thing with a twist. The first one, obviously, you got to shoot the head off. You hear a little bit of ringtone. This causes all the different mannequins to spawn in and act like zombies. The other variation of this is just to shoot the arms. And when you do that, it's just a little bit different. What happens is all the mannequins are still these zombies, but they don't move unless you're not looking at them. And this particular Easter egg is supposed to be tied in with Doctor Who. And the third version of this Easter egg is to combine both of them and shoot all the heads and all the arms off, making sure that the last mannequin you shoot the arms and the head off at approximately the same time. Keep in mind that if you're trying to trigger any of these Easter eggs, that you're going to want to shoot all the mannequins in under 2 minutes. So it's quite a journey that we've come along so far, and now we got to transition to Blackout and Black Ops 4. Check out their version of Nuketown. So as with every Nuketown map, there is a population sign, and Black Ops 3, Blackout, and Black Ops 4 are no different. We're going to make that transition here from Black Ops 3 to Blackout, and we're going to talk a little bit about this specific map. And if you look very closely, the Nuketown Island looks a lot like that image that we saw from the Indiana Jones film. And as you saw, that Nuketown sign is identical to the one that we had in the first Nuketown map in Black Ops 1. And what you'll notice is as you walk around the map, it looks and it feels a lot like that Black Ops 1 map after it got hit with that nuke. And what's really cool is they even repurposed some of the things so that it makes sense with the storyline that they can actually have an underground bunker under this specific building. If you guys haven't had a chance to play Blackout, you navigate around the map, you can kind of see how the layout looks, how it feels. And based off the overall feel and dimensions, it feels a lot like you're playing on that specific map that you're so familiar with. Like I said, they do have access to a bunker. So a bunker that we saw in that first map in one of the spawns is that you'll see that that door is now open. You'll be able to walk down there and get access to all kinds of different Easter eggs down there, but pretty much all of them are related to zombies, so I'm not going to go ahead and touch on those today. So when we go back above ground, one Easter egg that I think solidifies that this is the original Black Ops 1 Nuketown map is the actual nuke countdown timer that we see right here. And unfortunately, one Easter egg that they removed from the game is those actual mailboxes. There's not actually any mailboxes on this particular map. At least they're not where they should be, which is the front of the door. So you can see as they come around, there is no mailbox. So we don't have a woods and mason mailbox sitting on the front. And that pretty much covers these Easter eggs. So let's go ahead and transition to the newest version of Nuketown. So the first thing we'll touch on is the actual location of Nuketown in Black Ops 4. Around the release of Black Ops 4, a company called Supra released these 3 products. And on these 3 products, they had some specific coordinates. So before we even got access to Nuketown, this was our first Easter egg. And those coordinates bring us to a city called Chernobyl in the Ukraine. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how the newest version of Nuketown looks compared to the previous versions we've looked at so far. And what you'll notice is that they decided to go with a snow-themed map, which is a huge difference compared to Black Ops 1, 2, and 3. And the layout is pretty much the same as the one we've always had. What they did do is they decided to bring back that RC track, which I'll show you right here, that was actually shown in the trailer. So I just snipped that from there, since that was a perfect demonstration of what that tunnel looks like. They also brought back the mailbox, and at first glance, it doesn't really look like anything special, but as we take a closer look, you might recognize these names. The first name on this mailbox is Petrenko, and as we go to the other one, you will see that the other name is Reznov. So they still kept both. They did change the color of the mailbox just a little bit. They changed it from blue to red. And then this one over here is the blue one. Obviously, since everything's in Russian, it's a little bit hard to tell what stuff is saying. But if you look at this sign right here, it roughly translates to nuclear city. Also, while using theater mode, I was able to get a closer look at what the silo and the missile looks like at a much closer perspective and see the racetrack for that RCXD from a different angle. So now we're seeing it from where the track is. And then pretty much that's kind of what it looks like in here. Not too much detail spent in here because for the most part, you're not really going to be able to see it when you're playing the game other than using that RCXD. Now let's go ahead and talk about the mannequin Easter egg. Based on the general consensus, it seems like it is locked at the moment and they have not activated it if there is going to be an Easter egg. Several teams have attempted to do this in a public match because this map is currently unavailable in a local game or a custom match. So hopefully that's something they do in the near future to make that accessible in private matches or in a custom game so people can really see if there is an Easter egg related to the mannequins. But I'd love to know in the comments section below what's your favorite version of Nuketown and why. And that pretty much covers the evolution of Nuketown as it exists in multiplayer. If you did enjoy the video in any way, I had a lot of fun making it. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on. Appreciate all the support. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.